What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, and to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today we're here with a showcase, finally, a full-on showcase of Luffy and Sanji, the brand new Sugo Fest exclusive character for the 6th anniversary of the English and French version of One Piece Treasure Cruise. So today we're going to be taking him into content and breaking down what he's able to do. So let's go ahead and do that first. Let's go ahead and discuss what his abilities actually are. This character is pretty awesome, obviously, very powerful unit. Everyone can pretty much agree to that. I personally don't think he is the best Sugo Fest exclusive in the game. I still think that Gold Roger, in my opinion, is a little bit better. But let's break down what this character is able to do anyway. Obviously, it's a dual unit, so they have different captain abilities depending on who you have active. So obviously, Luffy is a strength free spirit fighter with a captain effect of being a 4 times rainbow captain if you're at full HP, or 3.5 otherwise, 1.2 HP, and then allows you to get the overheal mechanic. You can heal up to 2 times your crew's maximum HP value. It's a very interesting mechanic, and honestly, this is what separates this unit compared to a lot of other characters in the game. The overheal mechanic is actually pretty insane, as you'll see in a couple different examples in this video today. The fact that you can overheal so much means that stalling is not going to be that big of an issue with this character, which is very good. Speaking of the captain effect though, when we switch over to Sanji, he's actually also a free spirit fighter. So this character is considered a free spirit fighter no matter which character they are in, which actually makes team building a lot easier and definitely makes them synergize a lot better with other characters. But Sanji's captain effect is slightly different. The multipliers for his attack are a little bit lower. You can see 3.75 if you're at max HP and 3.25 otherwise. Still the same health boost, but he gives you 1000 heal at the end of each turn. So that obviously is a pretty big advantage to the character and still allows you to overheal. Now the special ability that you launch in order to make them into the dual unit is very good, as it changes all slots including block into recovery and heals 50 times his character's recovery to your crew. And it does state here in the special ability that this special, when you launch it, will enable you to overheal, meaning that Luffy and Sanji as a crewmate on your team will still give you the overheal mechanics when you launch the healing side of his special. But then depending on how much HP you have when you launch the special, you'll get a differing attack boost. So if you're already at full HP when you launch the special, you get a 2.5 times boost. Otherwise, it's just a 2 times boost, which isn't as good as some other characters in the game. And then they obviously fuse for 3 turns. Now their dual captain effect is very good, being a 5 times rainbow captain if you're at full HP, 4.5 otherwise, 1.2 health, 2000 heal per turn, and allowing you to get the overheal mechanic. So obviously a lot of really cool things going on here. Very simple, like easy to understand character, and very powerful unit. They also have a really good switch effect, which changes their own slot into recovery and makes recovery slots beneficial for 1 turn, which is very important. You got to make sure that before you launch their special, you use their switch effect just to make sure that the recovery slots you get from Luffy and Sanji are considered beneficial if you don't have them beneficial already. And they also have really good utility in reducing bind, despair, and paralysis, all by 1 turn with their switch effect. So very good. And especially if you are running double Luffy Sanji, you get 2 turns of bind, despair, and paralysis removal every single turn. So very good. They also have the hunger mechanic here. Mine is not maxed, of course, because we only had like 5 tablets given to this unit, but we have at level 5 that they can remove 3 turns of hunger, or 3 status of hunger, and every time that they heal, they get a differing base stat boost, so they can actually increase their base attack depending on how much they heal, which is good. They've got pinch healing 1.5 times, which is pretty typical, and they have recovery bind by 10 turns, which is also quite good as well. They're good in Pirate Rumble, but maybe I might that in a separate video, depending if I feel like using them in Pirate Rumble. But at the moment, this unit is still one of the best characters in the game, as you guys may have seen in my tier list video. I still think this character is phenomenal and will be used in a lot of content moving forward. I still think Gold Roger's a little bit more fun and a little bit better, but either way, let's go ahead and get into the showcase video of Luffy and Sanji. So jumping into this showcase video, I have a raid boss, and then I actually didn't even realize that the ambush quests are basically permanent at this point. There's actually ambush Shanks, which you guys will see right after this clip. Only the boss stage though, because, you know, ambush Shanks is a relatively easy event right now, and especially with Luffy Sanji, when you're running those as captains with the utility of the switch effects and some of the utility units you can run with them, you know, it just makes it a piece of cake. But here we have the clash versus Sengoku and Garp. Unfortunately, there weren't really too many difficult raids out at the time of me putting together this showcase video. The only like the event ones on the weekend were here. So this is, I think, probably one of the more difficult-ish ones. You know, I guess technically like Shanks and Mihawk is kind of difficult. Usopp and Chopper are kind of difficult. I remember when the Sengoku and Garp first came out, it was relatively tricky, but either way, you know, Sanji and Luffy, because they're rainbow captains, you can run basically whatever you want. And a really great suggestion from Carissa was to actually go ahead and run V3 Akainu, which was actually a really great choice, because V3 Akainu not only will remove the enemy barrier, it gives our Strength Dex crit characters a 2.25 times attack boost, and also does a self-proccing 1.75 conditional boost, because on the final stage, there is absolutely no defense down or full immunity buff. So having a Akainu special to launch here is great. And we have the treasure map Hawkins to give us a full board of matching slots. And then of course on the revive, we can use the switch effect of Sanji and Luffy and their special alongside Nami to unspecial bind our characters to basically have a field day against the Garp and Sengoku fight. And of course the ambush quest against Shanks is also extremely easy, because on the final boss stage you also get special binded and you get inflicted with, I think it's 5 turns of despair. So when you add sockets on top of that, it becomes 2 turns, and then obviously both switch effects of Luffy and Sanji to become you know, depending on which one you want to have. And of course in our situation here, we switch from Luffy to Sanji to have type advantage. We get rid of that despair, we have an attack boost. I think I actually used V3 Akainu for a conditional boost as well, and it's GG. It's, you know, some of these older events now are just an absolute cakewalk with some of the powerful legends that we have these days. But after this, we start moving on to some Colosseum fights. The first one that you guys are going to see is against Colosseum Katakuri. Colosseum Katakuri is actually kind of annoying. There's like really annoying gimmicks that you have to take into consideration when going up against that fight. And the more annoying thing here is on Colosseum Katakuri is when you reach the final boss stage, the enemy puts you under a special limiter, so you can only use one special for that first turn. And then after that turn completes, he does more bad things. But luckily for us, we're able to use a lot of various characters because we are rainbow captains, and we actually go ahead and use Shirahoshi Mancherry to remove that special limit. Another really good thing about Luffy Sanji that definitely puts them in a tier above so many other Sugo Fest exclusives is because it is considered a Luffy and a Sanji character. You have access to some of the more powerful supports in the game. You can remove a bunch of poison. Obviously with Ivankov support, you have access to V1 Rayleigh, one of the best supports in the game. In this situation here, we're using Onami, you know, V2 Nami legend, to remove the enemy's defense on the Flampe stage, stage 4, because Flampe is surrounded by some mobs that have really high defense, and it's kind of annoying to get around them, but of course we have the effect of Onami to remove the defense with the support effect, which is so good. And that just having access to so many powerful supports just definitely puts this character on like a whole echelon, you know, just by themselves, honestly. And then of course we have Sabo Koala to remove the negative orb enable that was on stage 3 with Streusen. We have Garp to give us a chain lock, and he also gets rid of special bind, which is great. And then also we have some really cool supports as well. We have Okiku with the support of Kanjuro, and we also have Colosseum Neptune attached to Shirahoshi Mancherry, both of which, the ones that I just mentioned, remove despair, because we get inflicted with a pretty serious amount of despair on the final boss stage against Katakuri. So with switch effect active and the 2 supports and sockets, we're actually able to remove 8 turns of despair, which is pretty bizarre, honestly, that we're able to do that. But obviously, with these characters that we did use, we are able to do that, which is so good. And then because we use Shirahoshi Mancherry to remove the special limit, we have Garp to remove the special bind. We can launch whatever other specials we want, and Katakuri gets taken down, you know, despite not having type advantage, because that's the whole gimmick of Colosseum Katakuri, is type advantage basically doesn't exist, unless if you have some sort of way to go through the damage immunity. But overall, pretty successful team for taking it on, and was definitely very satisfying to use this team against him. Now, despite how good Luffy and Sanji actually are, there is one big aspect of the character that basically, it just means that I don't like the unit, and that is because it's a dual unit, and I say that extensively on my live streams and in other videos. I am not the biggest fan of dual units as captains. I do love dual units as crewmates because obviously you get all of the benefits of a dual unit. You get their amazing special ability, and you get access to their switch effect that you can activate every single turn. And obviously there are very powerful dual units in the game that you can utilize in a lot of different teams, like Shanks crew, Sabo Koala, Luffy Lord. There's a bunch of really good ones. But using them as captains, I'm not the biggest fan of, because you have such a weakened captain effect a majority of the time, and I just definitely prefer using super types, which have an amazing captain effect all the time. And you have the super type special, which you can launch at whatever time you want, get additional color affinity, and get additional buffs from that. That's the way I like to play the game. I do prefer super types as captains, and then, you know, run crewmates to have your dual units. But either way, Luffy and Sanji are the best of dual unit captains because their multipliers are very high. They are rainbow captains, and they've got a very good utility-based special ability. They've got a special that gives them a full board of slots and they are their crew zone attack booster. So there's not really much missing with this character when you compare them to some of the other top tier units in the game, which is really, really good. Shanks' crew definitely has a lot of other benefits to using him, because he has obviously that really good captain effect to deal lots of end of turn damage when you hit perfects, but that is obviously only in their dual form. But they have the awesome passive effect in their captain effect, where they just completely resist. Well, it's not completely resist, but they get rid of 10 turns of special bind, which is more than enough in like 99% of cases. So just that alone is really good. But then Shanks' crew also has the negative of being a Shanks and, you know, his crew unit, because they don't have many good supports. There's only like maybe 1 or 2 usable supports that you could really use for them that actually give them a utility buff. I mean, there's a couple of damage boosting ones like Raid Zora, for example, for color affinity and stuff. But just across the board, Shanks' crew are, you know, the Shanks' crew are a really good unit still. I'm not saying they're bad or anything, but I'm just saying Luffy Sanji in terms of damage potential are definitely much higher compared to Shanks' crew, especially if you are at that threshold where you are able to go with the overhealing, and the overhealing is one of the most broken mechanics in the game, and you guys will be seeing that in the final clip of this video as we take on the Garp challenge. Now, as I did mention, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of dual units, but the interesting thing is the final clip of this video is a team that consists entirely of dual units, and that is because we are going to be taking on the Garp challenge Whitebeard with a full strength and Psi team. And yes, we do have enough characters in the game of such higher caliber where we are actually able to do that. So you guys are seeing here in this team, we don't even have a full team, because any other unit that you put into this team will actually ruin the conditions for each of the Garp challenges. So if you run, you know, a full strength and Psi team like we are doing here, but then you put like a Psi unit to finish off the team, that means you won't fulfill the strength condition. So because we only have this amount of strength and Psi dual units, you actually can only run 5 units, but we should be getting another strength and Psi dual unit actually very, very soon, which is the Kizuna Akainu and Kizaru unit. I don't think that unit has too much synergy with this particular team, but either way, that's another unit that you can add, which actually will increase your crew's HP threshold, which obviously you want to be having. So we are up against the Whitebeard challenge. I don't think this team will have any capabilities of beating NL, because obviously NL has a lot of problems having the fear debuff on the final stage, special binding and stuff. Getting actually rid of the stun debuff isn't too bad, because you can have the support of pudding attached to Luffy and Sanji, so technically that's okay. But in getting rid of the special bind and then getting rid of the fear and actually dealing enough damage on the final stage is the big problem there. But outside of that final stage, the NL Garp challenge actually shouldn't be that big of a problem. But until we get a unit that's strength and Psi that can, you know, help you defeat that final stage, I don't think it's going to work. But against the Whitebeard challenge, there isn't really too many things you need to worry about. But the really good thing, as I mentioned, is the overheal mechanic with Luffy and Sanji. The fact that you can consistently switch per turn, generate recovery slots for your crew, and then you have so many other really good units here, right? Mihawk and Perona generating a 1500 heal per turn. They also reduce the enemy's attack and defense with their negative debuff. So obviously it means that you tank less damage. And then obviously you have damage reduction with Ivankov and Bon Clay. So you also take less damage. So you're able to stall quite effectively here. Now, this particular team is not my creation. I know there's plenty of other people out there that have done it. I don't know who is the original creator of this team, but I know that a lot of people have made variations of this team. Another thing as well is I don't think I've cleared it in the most optimal way. I just put the units together and just ran it, and this is the first time of me doing it, and I was able to clear it on my first go. So I don't know if this is the most optimal way to clear it. I'm sure that there are different ways to use the specials of this team to make sure that you do it effectively. One thing I do know for sure is that you're supposed to use the Neko special, the Cat Dog special, on the second last stage and carry the Orb Boost into the final stage, because they're a Striker and Cerebral Orb Booster on the second turn of their special, which means that, you know, Mihawk and Perona and also Cat Dog themselves would have had an Orb Boost moving into the final stage. But despite not even having that Orb Boost, we're able to kill the final stage just with the conditional boost of Mihawk and Perona, and also the special ability of Luffy and Sanji. You know, the 2.5 attack boost is actually kind of insane. Who would have thought? And then to add even more onto that is the fact that you have access to the Liberal Hind ship, which enables you to get additional heal per turn, and if you are stalling for your side character specials, you can use the special ability of the ship to go ahead and reduce your character's cooldowns, which definitely helps out a lot. So that's really, really nice. And of course, on this stage with Marco and Vista, this is one of the more annoying stages for sure, because there's no unit on the team that can get rid of attack down, so you're kind of just stuck with stalling, and the special ability of Ivankov and Bon Clay can definitely help you out here, because they give you such a significant amount of healing every single turn for 5 turns when you launch the special. And because you're running Luffy and Sanji as your captain, you have mass overheal. So with the switch effect generating recovery slots, the special ability of Ivankov Bon Clay active, the switch effect of Mihawk and Perona, you are healing for such absurd amounts of HP every single turn, and you have really good damage reduction with Mihawk Perona negative effect, and also the damage reduction of Ivankov Bon Clay. You can tank for a very, very long time, and you can heal a lot. So that's the main reason as to why this team is as successful as what it is. I don't really know if any other combination of dual unit colors is able to do this yet. Not really too sure. Haven't looked into it too much. I think Quick and Dex are very, very close with Luffy, Law, you know, Zoro, Sanji, for example. There are a couple of, like, other units that are very, very close to getting to that, but the fact that Luffy and Sanji have overheal and so much recovery and damage reduction potential is the main reason why they are successful in this particular event. But that is going to wrap up this video today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
Garonia!